Hey everyone, welcome back to DC-Cember as we continue on the top 10 villains from Superman the Animated Series. Let's start with number 6, Parasite.
Don't you recognize me, Marty? It's your old doormat, Rudy Jones.
He has a cool costume that was redesigned here for the DCAU. I know it is his body, which is kind of weird, but
I've always appreciated, like I said, coming into this show, I didn't know any of these characters, so none of them have anything for me to compare to. But anytime that I see Parasite as a big, giant, disgusting monster, or not human shaped, if for some reason isn't as cool to me. On paper it should be cooler, because you would think that he would look a lot less humanoid than he does, but I think it helps remind you this was just a janitor, right, instead of a xenomorph or a big slug boy. He's not a big kaiju like in Man of Tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta go with how less is more. Just because you're mutated doesn't mean you have to have freakish face, claws, and everything.
Yeah, because on the same line, it's I get the idea of the more power he absorbs, the more hulking he gets, or the more veiny and large and whatever. But I think I prefer the idea that you'd never know how much power he's absorbed, because he looks exactly the same. So he could be full Superman powers, and he could be completely weak and useless. But he could stand there and be like, are you ready to fight? I've got all the powers, and he's just bluffing, and when you would never know. So I don't know. I don't know if that's on purpose that they did it that way, or if it just happened to be that they hadn't thought of the concept of him getting to be a giant monster by doing that stuff. But I also like the idea that he gets memories from people. Also, whenever he immediately knows everything about Superman, Clark Kent stuff, and yet he never reveals that to anybody. He holds that information in, and same with what other character is it that he? Oh, it's the guy in
Two's a Crowd. I think that's the title of it.
Yeah, that guy was a serial killer or something, to where he was so he could overpower the mental aspect of the absorption.
Yes, I guess they did a combo of the typical Superman villain, where it's some mad scientist team up with a legit supervillain.
Yeah, it's kind of a Firestorm situation there, where he's just got him in his brain and he can't get him out. But he doesn't have control anymore. I liked that part too, that he's not fully, he doesn't get to choose necessarily what he absorbs when he touches the person. He just gets everything, whether he likes it or not. So
you have a good point about how much power he can take, because in Clash, he was absorbing at least 3 different heroes' powers before Captain Marvel Shazam stepped in.
Yeah. Visuals of it being kind of an electricity thing also, where he's absorbing the energy from everybody, rather than they could do a thing where grabs him and he starts shriveling into an old man or something like that, but that I think would imply it doesn't come back or whatever.
Right.
There has to be a balance. As Superman starts to get his stuff back, Parasite's losing it, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. And that makes me wonder, that Parasite definitely had a little more appearances than other villains, but nothing ever went further as far as his goals. He just wanted to be a big shot, or just have, lots of cool stuff in his cell.
I think that comes nothing against janitors. They do very important work, but it's not a very aspirational job. And I'm just saying that personality trait kind of carries over when he gets all this power.
Yeah, I mean, I guess whatever the reason may be.
Yeah,
it's correct.
I'm not trying to judge.
Yeah, that he doesn't have a growth over his episodes necessarily. He just has cool powers and looks cool. So, I mean, but I think that he's probably above Mercy, who has a more interesting backstory and stuff, just because he's among the I can take down Superman with my physical attributes kind of a deal, which is all. I mean, it's an action cartoon. You got to have that. So
Janitor's closet. A dead end, Superman. Believe me, I know.
Now for number 5.
Livewire! Neat, huh?
it's funny because the podcast that I'm doing with my friend Brian, where we're going through Batman, eventually we'll go through Superman, and Brian has been getting really caught up on, or like really like stumbling over like physics not being exactly how it should be in real life, and I just can't wait for stuff like lightning hits Superman and then bounces off of Superman onto a lady, and then she gets like superpower electric powers. And, like, just go with it, man. It's okay.
Yeah, that's a very intriguing way. Like, just imagine if it wasn't her, if Barry or Wally, in case DCU, if they were in that place, like would he get like the usual powers, but maybe like more Superman strength powers or something? Or
I mean, I've always just kind of took that as like Superman is the conduit, and that's why the electricity doesn't just kill her. Like, it's a little bit less because it's going through him, but it also is like passing on some sort of genetic trait that allows her to like absorb the, you know, I don't know. I get that's why they have it bounce off of Superman instead of just hitting her. But then of course we have stuff like the Flash that just gets hit by lightning. I guess there's chemicals, but
true, that's a good point. Well, at least she didn't fall into a vat of electric eels.
Right.
Yeah.
Be careful where you fall.
Just like Harley essentially did. Yeah. And again, she is kind of the Harley of, like, I know we already said Mercy
Everyone's the Harley of,
but she kind of is. She was like, I mean, Mercy more so just because she's, you know, the girlfriend of the you know, main villain. But Livewire, like, also kind of broke out of the screen, and she's been in the Superman book. She's I'm sure she was in the Supergirl not the cartoon, the live action show.
Yeah, she's kind of like her arch nemesis, sort of, for a little while, on and off.
Yeah, Livewire is the main character in the Superman mythos now, and she was not before the MA series.
Well, I also like the idea that she is a shock jock before she becomes Livewire. So, like, I'm sure that was a discussion among the Tim Dini table of like, what's she gonna be before she's electricity girl? Like, make her an electric thing.
It's gotta have the puns.
You got a good point though. I guess like for Livewire, she definitely is like the Harley in terms of personality, where she's very bubbly. So she's not the usual type of villain that gets powers and just wants to, like, you know, destroy everything. She just wants to have a little fun and a little bit of revenge, of course.
I appreciate how she gets the powers, and then, like, she's a bad person before, and then when she gets the powers, like, she's just like, well, hell yeah, now I also can shoot electricity and, like, run through phone lines and stuff like that, or I guess power lines. But there's never like a downside to her getting powers other than just that sprinkle some water on her and she's done for, or whatever. But like when she shows up in Girls Night Out,
which is an awesome episode, one of the best of the DCAU.
But she's like being very cocky around Harley Quinn, because she and Poison Ivy essentially both have powers and Harley doesn't, and so she's just being very like, I don't know who you are, but why are you here? What's your point? Kind of a deal to Harley, which of course we as the audience know is bullshit. So
yeah, I'm kind of glad that the news didn't like paint Superman in that bad light because of her makeover, but I think after the power surge, no one's gonna argue much. Though my favorite lines I think from her is when she's dissing on Superman and yet he's doing like the opposite of her thoughts about him.
I do wish we got to see more, like maybe a couple episodes in a like Summer Gleason sort of style of like her just riffing and doing things in the background and being annoying, and then have this Livewire episode.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
agreed.
She kind of comes out of nowhere, but it doesn't never really bothered me. It's just been kind of neat, I guess. I feel like she's pretty, she's halfway up the list. We have her higher than some of these other ones, but I feel like
she's got a cool design.
Yeah, she just has the very strong episodes. So.
I think she's one of the few villains to do team-ups, both with the Parasite and the Gotham Girls.
And the Secret Society in the final season of JLU.
And the Superman Revenge Squad.
That's right. She likes to team-ups.
Yeah, I guess.
She's a team player.
Revenge!
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, as tomorrow we'll continue with our list for the week. Also, be on the lookout for the upcoming Multiverse fundraiser on January 20th to the 22nd of next year. And click on the link to check the newest series, Anonymous, at their website and see its first 2 episodes for free. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content, as more will come on DC-Cember.